What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plays podcast. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano, and this is for UFC Austin, not last week, 2 weeks ago, guys. We fucking absolutely killed it. Killed it. 6 Lambos on the show, a plus 4,400 on Rebus round 3 KO. We whispered that one, so I don't know if you guys heard it, but we had the Jekyll KO round 1 at plus 1,100. We had Johnson sub at plus 700. We had Allen round 3, 1,000. I mean, it was an insane show. Talbot, we won 6 different Lambos there on that show. It was incredible. I almost hit that Lambo parlay with Johnson round 3 KO along with Rebus 3 KO. That would have been absolutely epic. I mean, that was like, I forgot what it was. It was like 1,500 to 1 if it would have hit, which was insane. But Johnson couldn't finish it off. But with that being said, guys, before I go over to my chat, I do want to say that down below, I put a link out for a sponsor, gotstubs.com. There's a link down below. If you use my code NARCO, you click on that link, it goes straight to UFC 296. But the code works for anything you buy on that site. You get a percentage off your tickets. You're probably going to get the best price around with the discount. So go ahead, and if you're looking for any concerts, UFC stuff, it's all on there. You can use my code. It's probably good forever. So use the code NARCO. It's in my chat, and not my chat, in my explanation down below. So yeah, with that being said, let me go over to my chat. Always shout out the best chat in the game. There's 70 of them already in here, Tim. It's going to be rocking and rolling today. I'm telling you. Joshua Frick, best part of the week. Thank you, my friend. Zadil Slinga says, Narco the GOAT. Thank you, my friend. I am the GOAT along with my second GOAT right there in Timothy Troiano. Dixon Sider, what is up, my man? Both Armin and Bobby are going to be laying, saying that they swung at each other. I did see Armin kind of swing, but it wasn't like a close fist. What is up, Mushroom MMA in the house? Let's cast our Lambo parlay or 2 this week. Yes, sir. Let's do it. 2 times. Danny says, what is up, family? Glad to be back for the final month of the UFC in 2023. Let's go out with a bang. That's what we're trying to do, man. We're going out with a bang here. Bufu on the beat. What is up, my man? Kristen, how you doing? And it's happy UFC Austin week. It is. Bob, what is up, my man? Let's fucking go. He says, good luck to everybody this week. Let's smash those books. Victor De Jesus, what is up, my man? He's in the chat. Let's cash these tickets this weekend. Lewis, let's get that money. Yes, my friend, let's get it. Oh, Kim, need to pay off my credit card. Let's go. Might be able to pay off a little bit more than your credit cards if we hit some big ones like 2 weeks ago. Matt XRP says, Truman smoking that good pack tomorrow. I don't know who he's talking about. Oh, Thurman. Let's see what he's going to do. Yep, you're right. Get the W's out in chat. Yes, sir. Get those W's out in chat, please. Small World Lifter says, we almost won a Lambo. Yes, man. That was freaking close, too. That father, what is up, my man? Let's get that, or let's make that bag. Yes, sir. Let's make that bag. Craig Crowley, what is up, my friend? How you doing? Thank you for joining. Mark Schillenberg in the house. Finally made it live, he says. What's up, Narco and Tim? Can't wait to go through this card with you guys. Yes, sir. Ice Viking also in the house. Mr. Chico, let's fucking go, my friend. Saint Stephen, always here supporting. Das Files as well. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Yes, that round 3 KO was absolutely fire, my friend. It was absolutely fire. Normal Joe, what is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Evelyn Stone is in the house. Glenn Bout's in the house. Leon Edwards is also in the house. Hakata Police says, Narco and Timmy gonna get us right. We always get you right. What is up? George Gennaro in the house. Double flush. Let's get another round 3. I have some round 3s for you, all right? I got some round 3s for you. Don't worry. Nevro, what is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Welcome to Texas, where you can't smoke trees, but you can smoke people. We're definitely going to try to smoke people here. We're going to smoke the bookies this week is who we're smoking. Narco, what's up with your OnlyFans user again? No OnlyFans here. Stop your nonsense. All right. 86 of you in here. We got 12 fights. 1 fell out. That is the Steve Garcia versus Mel Costa fight. I have no idea. They're saying Garcia felt ill and he couldn't even make weigh-ins, so the fight fell off. So with that being said, we will start with the first fight of the night, and it is in the flyweight division. It is the 6-0 Jamie Lynn Horth versus the 7-4-1 Veronica Hardy, and we always have Tim kick you off with the bangers.
So this fight's interesting. You know, I've been I had like one of the worst bets of all time, or calls with Miller versus Veronica Hardy. Just absolutely terrible. Obviously, even though it was a horrible bet, I still do think that she had like chances to sub her from really bad spots on bottom. She put her in some pretty bad spots in that fight. And I think historically, I think Hardy for me is just a fade. The Bea Malecki fight, I can't get out of my eyes and my vision, and my memory just won't let me, stop seeing that fight. Bea Malecki is just one of the worst to do it, and she just kept walking forward and being able to take the shots, and then just basically outlasted her. Hardy has some wilt in her game, I think, as well as slows down in the end of round 2. Definitely slows down significantly in round 3. She's now fighting somebody. She's also a small 125er. I think she could probably fight at 115, but she's small for 125. Now she's fighting Jamie Lynn Horth, who is the opposite. She just fought up a weight class. Really strong physicality. I don't think she's very technical with her striking, but I think Hardy's got her a little bit on the technical side. But women's MMA is so much more about the physicality and the cardio, and who can just keep on pushing. And I think that's we saw that with Horth in her last fight versus Haley Cowan. She lost the second round and just pushed on through round 3. Was able to get up in round 3 and then keep doing damage. I think this fight is going to be won in the clinch and won by whoever can, if Hardy can stay on the feet, I think the fight's going to be much closer. But I don't think she's going to be able to keep it up and stay out of the clinch with Horth. And I think eventually Horth breaks her. I like round 2, round 3. I actually think round 3 is better, but we always like to play both just in case. But yeah, I think you're getting good lines, 1,200 and 1,000 on round 2 and round 3 for Horth.
All right, great breakdown. Yeah, so this is my whisper fight, Tim. So Veronica Hardy, like she took a long layoff, right? And she's young. Listen, at the end of the day, this girl's still 28, right? But this girl took a 3-year layoff. She came back after Malecki fight, which she looked absolutely atrocious, versus a I want to state this really clear. It's a non-UFC level fighter. Malecki should be nowhere in the UFC or near the UFC. So in that fight, when you watch the fight, like Malecki literally walks forward with her head up, chin up in the air, and she's like swinging these weird punches. She's not even a good striker, and supposedly she has a striking base. She's a terrible striker. She has terrible defense, right? And she's landing on Veronica here and there. And she's getting to her, right? When Veronica goes to clinch, this the funniest. I can't get this out of my head. She goes to clinch her, and like Malecki is so fucking noodly and weak, though. Like when you look, like, yeah, she's tall and big, but she's weak, dude. And she like grabs onto her and like she literally like bulls her over right into mount, and Malecki lands in mount, dude. And I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, this girl she's just not strong, man. And the more I see that fight, and it's like, if Malecki had any type of ground game, like first of all, let's make this clear. Every time she got her down, like Malecki was on top, she wanted nothing to do with the ground. She would automatically stand up. Even in the mount, like she didn't even feel comfortable. She didn't know what the fuck to do. So it's like she has no ground game, Malecki, right? But yet she was getting on top just by being bigger. Just by being bigger. Not stronger even. Just by being bigger, she was getting on top. And Hardy was absolutely fucking gassed in round 3. Like she was completely done. And when I go over and look at the Ashley Evans Smith fight, right? Ashley Evans Smith fight was at 135, just so people know. Like this girl's fought at 135. But she's getting bullied like crazy by Ashley Evans Smith, right? Ashley Evans Smith, okay, she might be a fringe UFC fighter. She's not terrible. She's got okay wrestling. And she's absolutely doing whatever she wants in the wrestling with this girl. Getting on top until the 3rd round, then she kind of crucifixes her and just like hammers elbows, and they stop the fight. The the point that I'm getting to is people are jumping up and saying, oh, Veronica Hardy looks so good in her last fight. She looked way different. Well, part of her game looked different. She darts in and out with the striking. She's always done that. She's a good, decent striker. What looked different? Because Juliana Miller was fucking pulling guard? Or Juliana Miller is like a terrible fighter that's really weak in the clinch and that gets bullied by almost everybody? Is that what it is? Like, I don't understand where she looked better.
And she's the worst striker I've ever seen.
She's
Miller,
terrible.
the
Like,
worst striker I've ever seen in MMA.
She's a terrible striker. That's another thing. She has like no threat on the feet whatsoever, right? So, and now she's facing this girl, Lynn Horth, who I'm not saying is very good. She's okay. But one, she got UFC jitters out in her first UFC fight. She fought up a weight class on short notice. I got to say that. It was on short notice, even though it's against Cowan, who's not a great fighter, but Cowan's actually pretty strong in the clinch. Like, she's a strong, athletic girl, right? And Jamie Lynn Horth was still winning those positions against her, right? The other thing is, I see a fucking distinct strength and size advantage here, dude. Like, I can't. When I looked at him at face-offs, I put it in Discord. Did you see how much bigger Horth was than this girl? Like, she's much bigger than her. This girl should not be fighting at 125, but she likes to eat, apparently. And at the end of the day here, Tim, what I'm trying to get at is 2-3 is a very good look, but also I think it's going to be KO, man. KO is 2,400 for round 2 and 3,000 for round 3. I think she's going to get, to me, when I watch Ashley Evans Smith get those positions on her, I think Horth can easily get the same positions. And I think she can probably crucifix and do the same shit, give her those elbows and finish her. It might be round 2, honestly. And in women's MMA, I always say it, size and strength matters, dude. And I think this girl's much stronger and bigger than her. Now, can she get hit on the feet? Yeah, she's been wobbled. She's not a very good striker, but she does have decent power as well on the feet. So I think the pace, the pressure of this girl, I mean, she has multiple finishes in round 3 and round 2. Like, I think she's going to finish Hardy, man. I really do. So, again, the whisper bet. Don't tell anyone. KO 2-3 on Mrs. Jamie Lynn Horth, plus 2,400.
The funny thing is when we hit the 44-1 2 weeks ago, if we miss the next 40, we're still profiting a lot.
Yeah,
that's the great thing about these bets.
That whole card up and down, you could probably free roll for the next God knows how long. We hit so many big ones. But yeah, man, I mean, I hear a lot of people saying Hardy looks good. Oh, but why? Miller looked like shit. She's pulling guard, guys. Why does she look good? So, yeah, I just don't think this Hardy girl should be at 125. And I think this Jamie Lynn Horth girl is huge for 125. So, there's two things playing out there, in my opinion. Let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 18-7 Wellington Thurman versus the 22-9 Jared Gooden. And I will kick this one off, Tim. So this is the fight that I truly believe goes to decision. That's my first take on this fight. I think this fight probably goes to decision. I favor Thurman pretty big here, to be honest. I just think he's the much better fighter everywhere. He's the cleaner striker. And we saw, even though he lost last fight, and I think it was lost on very, very close terms, because I think you could have gave him the fight, honestly. I know it says unanimous there. But when you watch back the fight against Brown, it's an extremely close fight. He's using the kicks a lot. His striking is getting much better. You see him trading with Poatan all the time. And guess what? At the weigh-ins, at the face-offs, guess who's right there with him, filming him? Poatan is, Alex Pereira is there filming. Like, they've become really close buddies. And you could see in his striking, like, it's changing, dude. He's taking that Poatan type of striking, right? Leg kicks, calf kicks, working the kicks a lot. And he's really good at it, to be honest. Against Brown, he really looked really good doing it. And now you got a guy he's facing in Jared Gooden, who, this guy got invited back because it was short notice, right? This guy was cut from the UFC, guys. You know, he was invited into the UFC, right? And then shortly thereafter, he got cut. He went on the regionals, got a couple of wins and a loss. He got knocked out by Impa. But then he came back against Carlston Harris, short notice, because they call him. And, you know, is he tough? Yeah, he's got a good chin. He's tough. He's not easy to get out of there. But he's not a clean striker. He gets hit a lot. That's the one thing that's exciting. He gets hit a ton. He keeps his hands down, which is a fucking no-no in any type of combat sport. Why are you keeping your hands down, dude? It's not like he has great head movement. He doesn't have fucking great head movement. And he's getting clipped, but he's taking them, you know? But it's like, yeah, you took him here, you took him there, but you didn't take him against Impa. You got knocked out, right? And when you watch Thurman, like, he throws hard. He has decent power. I know it doesn't show on his record. But, I mean, guys, do I think how he wins? I think Thurman wins by decision, plus 150. But am I going to ignore the fact that KO is 1,000? What?
Same thing.
Yeah. Am I going to ignore that KO is 1,000 on Thurman versus a guy that puts his hands down? Anybody can be knocked out, guys. It's middleweight. It's on welterweights. He can be knocked out. So I'm taking the 1,000, man. It's a stupid line, honestly. And I think Thurman is improving, and he's the younger guy too. So, yeah, I'm not a big Gooden fan, man. He hits hard. He's got a good chin, but his technicals are bad. He can be out grappled, and I think he can get knocked out. So give me the plus 1,000. Like I said, I think the fight goes the distance, but we're here to give you a prop that has value in it, and I think Thurman by KO at plus 1,000 has value in it. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown. I mean, I only thing I'd add is, like, Carlston had him rocked as well. He could have maybe had a knockout in that fight as well. He the other fighters that he's losing to got KO'd, like you said, by Impa. Randy Brown, where he doesn't really knock dudes out, like Abubakar doesn't knock dudes out. Alan Jaban doesn't knock dudes out. Then the last loss was by KO as well. So, I mean, like, this guy, like you said, I mean, he gets not only hit, but he's a take one to give one type of dude. Like, he waits and he doesn't do a lot. Then he gets hit and he's like, all right, fuck you, I'm going to hit you back. And then, but it's just the worst kind of like tactics and strategies to be able to bet on. And it's so minus EV long term. The only thing I would add is that fight ends by KO is 3-1. Which I think is good as well, because I think if Gooden wins the fight, I think he wins by KO. And Wellington has shown, like, that's been one of his issues, his durability. I think being on the juice has helped him out a lot in that regard. I think he's looking a lot better physically. I think like you said, the striking's a lot cleaner. So yeah, I mean, fight ends by KO that's a Lambo in itself, but I like the Wellington by KO as well. I think most likely it is a decision, but you know, if you're Gooden, you've got to worry about the takedowns from Wellington. He doesn't have really great wrestling, but you should be worried about it. And it should be like, dude, if this guy gets me down, it's probably his main way of beating me. And I think because he's got his hands down and he does that in general, I think the big shot's going to be there. So I like the same ones.
Yeah, I mean, Gooden, I'll give him his takedown defense is okay. It's not bad. I mean, Carlston exposed it last fight, like later in the fight. But in a lot of these fights, he's like stuffing takedowns. Like, he digs underhooks immediately. He does well with takedown defense. So, and then like you said, like, I don't think Thurman's wrestling is all that. So those two things together, probably it's standing. And that's a part of the reason why I like GTD. But man, plus 1,000 against a guy that puts his hands down, like, fucking hit me. Like, okay, I'll take 1,000. Let's see what happens. Eventually you're going to get smoked. Like, Impa smoked him, and like, okay, Impa hits decently hard, but he's also not like a huge hitter.
No, same thing.
Right? So, yeah, let's see what happens. But they're saying mush of the week. Why is a lot of people on Gooden? I didn't know that, because I was looking for like a 170 line, honestly, on Thurman, and I would have got in. I kind of missed it. I think it was there at some point. I missed it, but yeah, I don't want to play 2-1 on Thurman though. Let's see here. What's chat saying here? Narco Potan teaching Thurman how to sit down on his punches like he did with Strickland. Yeah, it's very possible. Love betting against. Yeah, this is Eric, that's a great strategy, man. Betting against low fight IQ guys is going to get you a lot of profit, honestly, in the long run. So we'll see here. 150. What did I tell you, Tim? We're going to be rocking and rolling today, bro. Hit that like, retweet, smash, do whatever you got to do to get more people in here. And with that being said, we will move on to fight number 3. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 20-4 Ihor Ptoria versus the 11-2 Rodolfo Bellato. Timothy, you got this one, my friend.
All right. So first of all, I'll say this money line is kind of stupid. I do think that Ihor is fraudulent, like in a big way. But the thing that he does is he's going to try to throw, especially in the first round. And it's light heavyweights. So unless you're telling me that, like, I mean, somebody that is shown that they're just extremely durable and extremely like responsible defensively, I just don't get these. I just would never get this line on a money line perspective. But so, I mean, I have a few in this one. I think like if you're on the Ehord side, it's got to be KO1. It's like it's pretty much all he does, and he's got horrible gas. He throws everything into his punches. So, and it's a good line. It's like 12-1. I think that's basically like his money line. But I'm on the other side. I'm on Bellato, and I think Bellato's his edge in this fight is grappling and clinching this dude, and eventually just wearing him down and staying kind of responsible in the first round and not trying to give him his win condition. So, I think the sub plus 300 and the sub 2 is plus 1500. I don't hate the 2-3 prop. I think it could obviously be a KO for him as well in round 2. I don't think the fight hits round 3 unless for like by miracle Ihor lasts that long, but I don't think it does. I kind of think it's similar to the Nega Mariano fight, where after he starts clinching him and starts tiring him out and hits him a few times, that he just wilts. So yeah, I think Bellato by sub plus 300 and sub 2 plus 1500 are good looks.
All right, a great breakdown. Yeah, I put it out this week, like in my Discord. It's like I looked at this line, and I was looking at props on this fight. Like, you know, I go through every fight to look at props and all the books, and I'm looking and I'm like, holy shit, Ptoria KO1 is 1200, and I'm like, nah, that's got to be wrong. Like, Ptoria has 9 KO wins, guys. 9 KO wins have all been in round 1. This guy goes for it in round 1. Like, that's just what he does. That's why he gasses all the fucking time. Like, he's a terrible gasser. Like, he gasses bad. And to be honest, when I watch Bellato, he's not a smart fighter, man. Like, yeah, he grapples later in fights, but in the first round, for whatever reason, he wants to swing dicks and he wants to swing punches, you know? So it's like he already got KO'd in both of his losses. Yeah, I know it's Petrino and he hits very hard, but he got KO'd in round 1 the first time, and he got KO'd in round 2 the second time. Now you go back and watch the Dos Santos fight in I think it was LFA. He also got rocked by Acacio Dos Santos, who's not a really big puncher. And the one thing Ihor does well is he can strike. He's a decent striker, and he has some power, right? And we're talking about a big division here, guys. We're talking about light heavyweights. It's 205. Anybody can get knocked out. And round 1 KO for Ihor is plus 1200. How is that right? I think that's fucking way off. But I love your 2-3, honestly, on Bellato, because Ihor has terrible gas, like absolutely horrific. And I think if he wins in round 2, round 3, I think he's just going to grapple him, honestly, because that's what he usually does, like in his fights. Like, he tends to start grappling in round 2 and round 3 against guys that can't grapple, right? So 2-3 sub is like 15 and 36.
Yep.
Kind of played it both ways, but when we're giving you these plays, guys, like, let's say you want to play every one of these Lambo plays for half a unit. Well, make sure you sprinkle half a unit on every one, not on every single prop, but on every fight, and then break it down, like, 0.15 here, 0.15 there, 0.2, whatever you feel more comfortable with, you play a little bit more. But that's how you should be betting them. Like, don't just drop like set number of like a set number of bet on every single prop. Just bet it per fight and then break it down for the amount of props that you think you like or that you think are good. All right, let's move on here. Fight number 4. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 13-3 Joe Selecki versus the 13-2-1 Jakar Close. Kind of was going back and forth on this one. But at the end of the day, I think this is the one thing that sticks out to me. I think Jakar Close's power is underrated to me. Like when I watch his tape, I think he's hurting a lot of people. I think he throws a lot of power in his shots. Like he hurt Rafa Garcia a couple of times. And to be honest, Rafa Garcia is one of the toughest MFers out there, you know, and he hurt him. We saw him against Darush. Like I don't have to tell you, like everybody knows, he hurt Darush very bad. You know, when you're watching a lot of these fights, he's hurting a lot of these guys, you know, and this guy has decent power, you know. He's got only 5 KOs. I get it. And a lot of them, Tim, are later in the fight. They're not early. They're like round 2, round 3. And we do know that Selecki slows down. We do know these things. And if this fight is standing for long periods of time, I just can't not see where he's going to at least hurt Selecki, man. He really is. And, you know, I do think Joe is a tough guy. Like he's not some guy that, you know, will quit or anything. You know, he's only been knocked out once in his career. But that was a round 3 KO against Nicholas Mota. And that's partially because he's gassing, right? He's gassing later. And the thing is, I do think he might have some success early. He might get the back, you know. But I also think Close is very defensively responsible versus submissions, man. Like he's pretty good at fighting hands. I mean, he lets some of these people get like chokes on him, but he fights out of them, man. And he's extremely tough. And if I tell you one thing, like I talk to guys, I have friends that are at MMA Lab here in Arizona, and that's where he trains right now. And the one thing they'll tell you is you actually have to kill Jakar Close to get him out of there. You have to kill him or put him to sleep like Darush did with that left. Otherwise, you're not going to get him out of there. And he's a tough guy, and he's going to keep coming. And he has a gas for 3 rounds. So round 2, round 3, close KOs are 13 and 18. That's what I'm taking here. You know, I see it. It's a binary fight. Let's be honest. It's a binary fight where if Joe hits the ground, it's going to be Joe's world. But if it's standing, man, you know, Joe's okay in the striking, but he's not very good. And I do think Jakar Close is pretty good in the striking. So 2-3 KO, 13 and 18. What do you got, Tim?
Yeah, this is like this fight is very similar to the Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum fight, in my opinion, like really like almost identical. Except for like, I think that the wrestling from Brady is better, and we'll get to that fight later. But I just think that there's like little bit stronger sides for Brady's argument than Selecki. But I've seen a lot of people like talking about these fights this week, and they say the same thing. And then they're like, on one fight, they're taking the striker. On the next fight, they're taking the grappler. It's like, wait a second. Yeah, your process changed for some reason. So I'm with you. I think that there's going to be a lot of shit talk this week on a lot of these fights that are extremely binary, where it's really close lines and everybody's like, at the end of the fight, somebody's going to look like minus 500. And the line doesn't say that because it's so fucking binary. But yeah, I'm on the other side on this one, but I was thinking the same thing. Like I had the Jakar side and wrote down my props as to what I think could happen in percentage wise. I'm like, yeah, Jakar round 3 is just like almost like an auto play at 18-1. But the problem that I have with him is the knee surgery coming off ACL. I don't think his takedown defense, I know he's strong physically, but I don't think his takedown defense is that great. And his get-ups are he does the same thing as Calvin Gastelum, like literally gives his back up every single time he gets up. And both Brady and Selecki are elite at taking backs. Like this is their absolute favorite move to go when they get people down. And I think that Selecki is usually like, it just depends on who he fights. Like sometimes he's just backpacks guys and controls them and doesn't really hunt subs. like the Deaton fight, he was just perfectly happy holding him until he wanted to get the finish, and then he finished him late. But I think in this fight, to me, I think that it really depends on the threat from the other side and how Selecki fights. I think like when he's threatened more by the other guys, a lot of times he's a little bit more aggressive with how he goes to the ground and how he tries to get takedowns and what he's doing on the ground. So I don't think that other than Beneil having chances to sub him, I don't think the other guys that are fighting against Jakar are like elite grapplers and elite jiu-jitsu like Selecki. I think offensively Selecki's jiu-jitsu is very, very solid. I think his wrestling is kind of okay. Striking, I don't really have much for him. I think he's just technical. He's kind of pillow fists. Just really doesn't have much threat at all on the feet. But Jakar's going to come forward, and Jakar's going to throw some big shots and kind of put himself into positions where he might be able to be clinched or taken down in that position. So give me sub 3 plus 210 or sub 1-2 is plus 500 for Joe. I think if he does it, it's going to be round 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. That's the other route you could take here. Like I said, it's a binary fight. I don't know.
Do you think
I feel like Joe gets his back early and stuff, but I know he's really good in back takes too. Just don't think he's going to sub this guy. I think this guy is he's a wily vet, and he's probably going to be training for this shit over and over again at the MMA lab. And, you know, they got some good grapplers there. And you know,
do you like draw at all on this one? I think it's possible. No?
Not really.
If you like the round 3, if Jakar beats his ass in round 3 and he gets backpacked in round 1 and 2, it's there. That's the way I would see it happening.
Yeah. I mean, I get the backpack thing, and I've seen him multiple times, honestly, with Jakar close, but he's also defended really well multiple times, you know?
He's
won a lot of those fights.
Yeah, if he doesn't sink in the choke, my point is like if Joe gets him down, it's similar to the Brady fight. It's like both those guys, if they get guys down, their top games are very good at keeping the guys down. And then if they get your back, they're gonna sink in hooks, and you're gonna be in that position for the rest of the round. Whether or not you get subbed, that's up to you. But
I mean, did you watch the Moda fight? I don't know if you did, but I mean, it's like, you know, in order to get a body triangle and keep it for 2 rounds, bro, like your legs are gonna be absolute mush in round 3.
That's why that's what my point is on the round 3 KO and draws. Like if he doesn't finish him, then the draw's there, and if he does, you got.
That's the thing. I think he will probably finish. I see a scenario where he doesn't, but I think if he's that mush, like his legs are gone, I think Jakar Close is probably going to finish him. But you know, we'll see. Yeah, we're on opposite spectrums there, but I think both sides are fine. Moving on, fight number 5. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 9-5 Cody Brundage versus the 6-0 Zach Reese. Timothy, this one's all yours.
This is a shit show. This is a shit show fight. Zach Reese, I don't know what to think of. I don't think he's very skilled. I think that he's fought a bunch of cans and finished him early. You typically do not want to be betting high juice on guys that are round 1 finishers, and you'd never see them outside of that round because that turns into a shit show a bunch of the time. And then you're trying to fade that guy with Cody Brundage, who has been just obviously shown poor fight IQ, shown that he can wilt. But I mean, the level of competition between these guys is just obscene, like way, way higher on the Brundage side. He's fought and beat guys that are just actually UFC level. He throws hard. So if you're on the Cody side, it's like the last fight when he cashed the DQ round 1 ticket. If you're on him, I think that he's like early. It's round 1, and he's very front loaded. His KO prop similar to Ihor is 12-1 as well. I think they learned from last time hanging the 20-1 on him. But I'm going to go on the Reese side, and this is similar to the Bellato fight for me. Like I'm hoping that Cody can last a round, and then I think that Reese probably finishes him in 2, or maybe 3. But 2 is plus 600, sub 2 is plus 1300, 3 is plus 1400. I just think that I could see like Cody having success standing, but I feel like he's going to try to grapple this guy or try to wrestle him as well. Especially if in round 2, and he just sticks his neck to be choked every single time he goes for a takedown. So Reese is shown to go for submissions. It's not like he's just, banging these guys out in round 1 all the time. So he does go for subs as well. So Reese round 2 plus 600, Reese round 3 plus 1400. But I think it's a round 2, and I think it's a round 2 sub.
It's crazy. Only one guy has subbed him.
Yeah.
And you know who that is?
Who's that?
Adolfo Vieira in round 3.
That's elite.
Yeah, I mean, he's only been subbed once. I know I heard that a couple of times this week where people say, oh, he puts his neck in there, but he's never been subbed. Adolfo Vieira is the only guy that subbed him. And honestly, Zachary Reese to me is trash. Yeah. Watching this guy's tape, I don't think this guy is any good, dude. Like, he was getting his ass beat in the last fight in Contenders before he got a armbar off his back. Is that good? Does that warrant this guy to be minus 400? Why? He looked like shit that fight, and he was I think he was a favorite, and he throws up an armbar from bottom. Big fucking deal.
Yeah, it was mean.
And he's fought absolute cans, bro. Like when you're talking about cans. To me, this is the thing with this guy. I watched his regional. I remember this. I didn't go back and watch it again, but I remember it clearly. Parker Didier fight, a very small guy at 185 in his last amateur fight. The guy that's not good at all was holding this guy, cage pushing this guy, and this guy couldn't do anything about it. He just stuck on the fence, getting cage pushed by this smaller guy. Like, that's embarrassing, bro. Like, this guy is like, okay, what's so good about this guy? What people are not realizing, Cody Brundage is not a great fighter. He wilts 100%, guys. It's a true fact. But guys, when you're breaking down fights, look beyond just the little things you want to see. Oh, Zachary is such a big finisher, but against who? Bums? Cody Brundage, which finished all those guys too. What's the difference? Who cares? The thing is, Cody Brundage, and I don't know if people know this, 4 out of his last 5 fights, he's taken on short notice. He just comes in, short notice, probably off the couch, not even training. And that's why he probably goes for it, gasses out, right? Gasses out and then gets finished, right? Or he finishes. But, I'm hearing people say, like for instance, Tim, I have a question for you. You said, if Cody Brundage gets out of round 1, I like Reese in round 2 and 3, but why? What have you seen from Reese in round 2, round 3?
No, it's more. It's honestly, it's more.
Who do you think? If I just told you who has better cardio, I would say Brundage does.
We know. Well, the data that we have for sure.
He went 3 hard rounds with Nick Maximoff in a lot of grappling in that fight, right?
Yeah, it's like the other thing too is just look at the list of people that he's fought. Like, dude, Nick Maximoff would absolutely murder Reese. Dalsha, Tresean Gore KO'd Tresean standing.
Listen, you know what I look at Reese? I look at him just like Dumas. He's tall, lengthy, and in that fight against Dumas that went to decision, apart from 2 stupid moves, going for guillotine, he probably wins that fight, right?
Yeah, so it's he could win a decision here.
So that's where I'm getting at, Tim.
Yeah, yep.
Decision is 850 on Cody Brundage. He's the guy that can go through. In my opinion, he's going to have grappling success. Let me tell you right now. I guarantee you, if he wants to go for takedowns, he gets this dude down. This guy has no hips.
Yeah, I don't
Zero hips. He's going to get taken down. And his decision prop is 850, guys.
Where's that at?
I think it's in a couple places. Hard Rock has it.
Nice.
It's around 800 to 850 almost everywhere, honestly. If you look at it here, let me look at it. But it's around that price around everywhere. And yeah, it's 800 on DraftKings, 800 on MGM, 850 on Bet Rivers, 850 on Hard Rock. So it's everywhere. My point is, he's the more proven fighter that can go 3 rounds. He's been there. He's done that. The other guy hasn't. And then when you look historically lately, like, okay, he gets finished in round 1, gets finished in round 2, finishes in round 1, or, the elbow, the Malkoun. The Malkoun fight, take it out of your head. It's short notice against a guy that can grapple his ass off. Forget about it. It's not the same fighter he's fighting today and Zachary Reese. That's just not. So when you look at stats, when you look at data, when you look at the fighters, Cody Brundage by decision, 850. I'm going to take a stab there, man. Yeah, you know, look at people saying Cody Brundage, but against who, bro?
Yeah, dude, against Malcolm, against Michael Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodolfo Vieira in round 3. You know what Rodolfo Vieira would do to fucking Zachary Reese?
Every person that he's lost to would be like minus 300 or better against Zachary Reese.
Yeah, maybe Dumas not. Maybe Dumas.
Right.
But probably Dumas beats him, to be honest. I mean, he has better cardio.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, it just doesn't make sense to me, guys. Come on. Like, let's look at everything. Let's look at the big. Don't listen to the noise. The noise doesn't help you. And watch the tape. And the tape screams Zachary Reese is a fraud to me. He's a fraud. He's not a real fighter. Now, I don't want to play Cody Brundage at this price because I don't trust him at the plus 180 or 170. I don't trust him. But I'm going to take a stab at plus 850 by decision because the line is way off in my opinion. So, yeah, man. I mean, we'll see what happens here. But I think that line is bonkers to me. And that's a hot take of mine for the week. I know a lot of people, I haven't heard anybody actually call that.
I like that a lot.
Full camp. Listen, guys, this is a full camp for him. And like I mentioned, last 4 out of 5 have been short notice for him. When he's short notice, I mean, it's hard, especially for a guy that gasses and stuff like that. Short notice is terrible. So
he wants to wrestle too normally.
There you go. Plus 850 on a quitter seems about right. I mean, hey, I could be dead wrong and he could get finished.
Yeah, you don't have to be you don't have to be that right when you're plus an 850.
Yeah. I mean, I see value in it. And I'm telling you guys, I think there's value in plus 850. It's plus 800 on DraftKings, whatever. Let's move on here. Fight number 6. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 19-9 Miesha Tate versus the 9-2 Julia Avila. I want nothing to do with this shit show. just give me fight ends in split plus 400 and call it a day. I got nothing else. You know, 2 older fighters, one coming off the couch. You know, kid, this, that, hurt, ACL, all this other stuff. You know, Rock'em Sock'em robot, she does a lot. Avila does, you know, she has power, okay. But yeah, I want nothing to do with the sides, the KOs, the this, the that. Just give me split decision plus 400.
So I'm laughing really hard because I was taking that approach to this fight where like I was like literally fading this, like not even taping it, doing everything. And then I'm like, no, I'll do it right, man. Fucking tape it. Watch some of these fights, see what you can see. And I got a whisper bet here, dude. I have one here. So here's the thing, man. Tate round 2 plus 2,000. Tate round 3 plus 2,900. Tate by sub in round 2 is plus 3,000. Sub 4 or sub 3 is 42 to 1. Here's the thing. Tate's finishes, 75% of them are in round 2 or later. She doesn't typically finish in round 1. Avila, the reason why I think that Avila can be finished, number one, she hasn't fought in 3 years. She's literally just had a baby. This is the fight after the baby. The Sarge Eubanks fight is a gigantic red flag, like the biggest of red flags. Like Sarge is nowhere near the fighter that Miesha Tate is. And they're similar styles. They both can't strike and they're both wrestle fucks and they like to get on top. And if they're great hammers and they're bad nails. And it's like, dude, I think Miesha's like way, 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 way better of a fighter with way better cardio and the same kind of style, like I said, as Sarge. So it's like, dude, Sarge had Avila in dead positions, absolute dead positions in round 3. Like she could have finished her. Like if she had more cardio and she had more like just, I don't know, just better skills, like she could finish her. Like I just think that this is like stupid lines, kind of similar to 2 weeks ago. What is Taken to do? Is Taken to try to stand with this chicken fight? Absolutely. Yeah, man, 220 to 1, 329 to 1. I think it could be a positional KO, but I actually think the sub will be there more. I think that Avila, if she gets into a mounted situation, will give up her back and will be choked out for the first time in her career.
Eric with the hot take says UFC wants Tate to win and then use her for UFC 300. That's possible. She's a way bigger name. She's got like freaking, I was going through her Instagram, dude. She's got like 2 million followers. Oh my God. I mean, she's very popular. She's probably making a ton of money off just social media and stuff. But yeah, I'm probably going to sprinkle those, honestly. I didn't even look at that. I didn't want nothing to do with this fight, but 3,000 sub 2 and 4,200 sub 3. And the other thing, you have to mention the fact that she's been gone for so long. She had a C-section. She had this. She had that. You know, she had a C-section for her baby. That's not good. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't mind that take, honestly. Miesha Tate was the last one at the scales, but she made weight. She looked fine. Yeah, I don't mind that, actually. Let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 9-3 Punahele Sorano versus the 14-5 Dustin Staltz. This one's yours, Tim.
This is a Puna in round 1 or Puna in round 2. Not going to mess with KO. I think it could be a club and sub as well. But I predict that he KOs him, but the line is like plus 290 versus plus 230. So get a 25,000 mile Lambo on that one. If by chance Stoltzfus is able to survive a round, I think he gets him out in round 2, which is plus 500 just to be safe. Again, I think it's plus 600 for the KO. So not enough for me to not hedge on the sub line as well there. I just think Puna has him covered. I think that Stoltzfus is like he's fighting in quicksand when he fights. Like he's one of the slowest fight. He's almost in like, I have to check my TV to make sure it's working properly because it's almost like he's in slow motion when he's fighting. And I just don't think it's a good fight matchup wise for him. Puna's not a guy that's easy to grapple fuck. You need to have extreme durability as well as pretty solid striking from a technical basis to be able to stay with him striking and not get hit by him. Big left hand that's going to be coming from an opposite side. Just, I don't know, man. I just feel like Puna's going to connect early, probably knock him out pretty early in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, at first when I looked at this fight, I'm like, yeah, maybe this fight like sneaky goes to decision, stuff like that. But watching Tate, man, like, bro, this guy Stoltzfus is so slow. He's flat-footed. His wrestling is no good at all. He's very, very slow. Like I said, he's very flat-footed, very, very hittable, man, very hittable on the feet. And Puna hits very hard. And when you go back, Kopylov finished him. Okay, Kopilov's a great striker. Now we know that. And then the other 2 fights, versus Dalcha, he finished Dalcha, but the other 2 fights against Maximov, he got grappled big time. And then against Brandon Allen, Brandon Allen's he's like a top 5 fighter now in the middleweight division. And it was a back and forth fight, but Allen used a lot of his kicks and they worked in that fight. And Allen, to be honest, is faster than Stoltzfus by a mile. He's much a better fighter. So what I'm trying to say is he's faced a level of opposition that's much, much better than Dustin Stoltzfus. Meanwhile, Dustin Stoltzfus has faced Dwight Grant, who's not in the UFC. Mearshart finished him in round 3. Rodolfo finished him in round 3. And he got destroyed by Kyle Daukaus in that fight. The Joe Pyfer win, whatever. Joe got injured. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, that's nothing. And then Abus just absolutely killed him. What I looked at and how I came to my decision is the fact that he really hasn't fought a powerful striker outside of Abus. And guess what happened? He got fucking knocked out. This is a powerful striker in Puna. And I truly believe he's going to put this guy out. He's way slower. Puna has very good wrestling. I would be surprised if Dustin Stoltzfus gets Puna down, to be honest. I don't think so. His wrestling sucks. So round 1, this is how I wrote it. I wrote round 1, do not play KO because it's 60 cents difference. It's 230 to 290. But round 2, I played KO. It's 650 on FanDuel. I think between 500 and 650, I'd rather take 650. It's $1.50 more. I just don't think Puna's going to sub this guy. Puna subs have been rear naked chokes. He's not getting to, like, Stolfus has good takedown defense, guys. He's a brown or black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, it took Adolfo Vieira forever to sub this guy. Like, Puna's not subbing this guy.
GM3-2. They just waited as it got tired.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are high, like the highest of level grapplers. Like, and now we're going down to Puna. He probably doesn't even know what the fuck a white belt is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. I think it's KO, but 60 cents. Anything can happen. Fine. Play 230. But round 2, $6.50, $1.50. It's too much. So I'm going to take round 1, round 2 for Puna by round 1, just round 1 at plus 230, but round 2 by KO at plus 650. I think he's going to knock him out, to be honest. 196 people in here. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. We might hit the 200 mark today, guys. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit the like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's greatly appreciated. That's all I ask from you guys. Also, while I have 198 of you in here, please link down below if you guys want to go to any UFC fights.
You know how many likes we got? You know how many likes we got, dude? 3.
No, we don't.
I see 3 right now.
There's no way. Stop it. My chat is the best, Tim. Get the hell out of here. So anyways, underneath here, it's gotstubs.com. Any concert, any sports event, UFC. I linked the UFC 296 in case you want it. Use my code NARCO. You get 3% off, guys. Probably the best price you're going to get out there with the 3% with all the fees and all the shit that they charge you from all these sites. I mean, all these hidden fees. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, 3% off down below. I just bought my wife. She's actually in Chicago. She's going to the Mariah Carey concert. She's sitting row 3. And yeah, I bought the tickets there and she's going to have a blast. So yeah, that's it. That's all. With that being said, we will move on to fight number 8. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 38-23 Clay Guida versus the 12-4 Joaquim Silva. And I'll kick this one off with 202 people in the house, Tim. Appreciate all of you. Yeah, Clay Guida, ripe age of 41. I think he's turning 42, actually. Yeah, he's turning 42 here a week from today. Clay Guida keeps on going. He keeps on coming. And now he's facing a guy in Joaquim Silva, coming off honestly a good loss against Sarukian where he hurt Sarukian, but still ended up getting finished. I honestly, truly, like, when I was watching tape, I'm like, Joaquim Silva hasn't had a submission in forever. This guy ain't getting no subs. But then when I'm playing back Clay Guida, it's like, this guy, he gets wobbled. He's going to go shoot like very stoppily. His takedowns are sloppy. I mean, I think Silva subs him, man. Early in the week, I didn't think so, but I truly believe Silva will sub this guy. It's plus 400, but I kind of lean like sub 2-3, Tim. It's 12-22. I kind of lean later in this fight as the fight progresses. I think he gets the sub. So, you know, could it happen round 1? Sure. But I think it's going to be later. But I'm just going to go strictly sub. It's 400. It's a good price. 42 years old, man. Like, when is Clay Guida going to stop? But the guy's a machine. Shout out to him. What do you got here?
I'm a solid 5 years older than Clay Guida. I just want to let that be known for the record here, people. This is
holy moly.
Yeah, I'm still counting money from the Puelas by Nibar at 50-1 against Clay doing stupid things. Clay just gets subbed, man. His way to go is to get subbed. He just likes to do it. He prefers to lose that way, it seems. I guess it's less than losing a decision to him in his mind or getting KO'd in his mind. Yeah, man, Silva sub. I think it's actually kind of early. Yeah, I think it's sub 1 is plus 800, sub 2 plus 1400. I think that Clay is going to, if he gets hit hard, I mean, I think, like you said, if either he hits hard, or he just tries to take him down. And then he could be subbed from bottom, he could be subbed from top, he could be subbed trying to get the takedown. He can literally get subbed any which way. So, yeah, I like Silva by sub 2.
Yeah, by the way, Silva's all natural, guys. Just so you know. He got tested. He's all natural. Shout out to my wife. We are watching with the cousins from Chicago. How you doing? Miss Narco Cop in the house. And our sponsor, Got Stubs. You guys are the best. Let's go. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being in here. Yeah. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Next fight. We are at fight number 9 here. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 15-1 Sean Brady versus the new and improved at welterweight 18-8 Calvin Gastelum. What do you got here, Timothy?
All right, so I'm going to be, unlike a lot of cappers that I've seen this week, flip-flopping on the exact same like archetype fight from Seli to close and Brady versus Gastelum. I'm going to stick with the two guys that are the grapplers as opposed to flip-flopping on this. I think I think a lot of people, I've done so many flip-flops and flips this week. I feel like Simone Biles with these fights. So I just think that Brady by sub plus 340, sub 1 plus 850, sub 2 plus 1100. Same mindset as the Seli fight. Calvin Gastelum is a guy that can be taken down, literally gives his back up all the time, makes horrible decisions when he is on the ground. And then he doesn't have the jiu-jitsu once he makes bad decisions to get out of them and defend them. So I just feel like Brady, I'm not trying to like put Brady on a pedestal here. I think this is this is an extremely binary fight, just like the Jakar Close and Seli fight. This is a extremely closely lined fight where I feel like the winner is going to look minus 500 to 1,000. And everybody's going to be like, oh, I told you guys were fucking wrong on this coin flip. So it's like, I just think it's going to go one of two ways. I feel like if the fight stays standing for any length of a time, the striking, defense, and the reaction to getting hit for Brady, his nose seems to be broken every single fight. Every time he gets hit in the face, he seems to break his nose, and he seems to affect his breathing, seems to affect how he fights. He was getting pieced up really, really bad versus Chiesa in round 3. He's getting 1-2'd and jabbed. Now, Chiesa is way, way bigger and way longer than Gastelum, and I think Gastelum, when he strikes against guys, obviously he's fighting way higher competition, but I think he fights close with guys a lot of times in these striking battles. I don't think that it's going to be close standing between them. I feel like Brady's got to push the pace to get him down the ground. He's got to push the pace to try to clinch him. I just do not think that he wants to strike with him at all. So I'm going to go with Brady to get the sub and sub early.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I wrote that down as well. I'm going to go 2 ways here, honestly. I'm going to go Brady sub at plus 340, just a regular sub. But I'm playing 100% Gastelum round 3 at plus 14 and plus 1,600. Like, bro, Brady, I mean, Sean Brady has a problem, bro. Like, this guy does not like getting hit. I'm telling you guys. I'm watching tape over and over. This guy does not like getting hit. Someone mentioned in there, Isho Zaya mentioned that this guy's, I mean, did you see his nose? Fucking like this, dude, to the side. Someone probably broke it again in training or something because that thing is fucked up.
He had surgery to fix that.
He didn't fix shit because somebody broke it again.
He paid money to get that fixed to look like that.
It's literally sideways. Someone broke it again. And, like, okay, I understand Brady's a great grappler. And honestly, Calvin Gastelum's takedown defense, guys, I'm telling you right now, is dog shit. When I watched Whitaker take him down, his takedown defense is not good, man. It's not good. And I do think Brady gets him down. That's the thing. I do think he gets him down. He might sub him, to be honest. And Brady's a good grappler. But if the fight gets standing and Gastelum gets out of the positions, he's going to touch up Brady. And he's going to bust the nose for sure. He's going to make him bleed. I'm almost certain of it. Every fucking fight it's happening, and his nose looks broken to me, like I just said. He's going to probably bust him up. And that's when Brady crumbles, to be honest, man. And the thing with Gastelum is he's got 5-round cardio, guys. He's cutting down to 170. He was fighting much bigger guys that hit much harder, guys that are stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's fighting at 85 in a division he shouldn't be fighting in. And he's going to close decisions against guys like Jared Cannonier, guys like Israel Adesanya, guys like, Whitaker actually pretty much dominated him in the grappling, right? And that was the red flag to me, why I like Brady. because Whitaker did whatever he wanted to him in the grappling. But I cannot overlook the fact that Sean Brady's absolutely getting pieced up in round 3 while he's running away from Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa has no striking, guy. He's not a good striker. And he's running away from him in round 3 while he's kicking his ass, bleeding all over the place. This guy doesn't like getting hit. And Gastelum's going to put a pace on him, man. If it's standing, he's going to keep coming and he's going to keep throwing. And if there's any point in round 2 or 3 that he starts stuffing takedowns and he makes this guy work and starts hitting him, I think he's going to crumble him. So I'm going to give round 3 1,400 or 1,600. It's somewhere in that range you can get. I think if you have Hard Rock, it's 1,600. So, but everywhere else, like 14, 12, whatever. I like round 3 Gastelum and Brady sub. I'm going to go both ways here. It's not like I have a hot take, but yeah.
I see a lot of people in the chat saying like Gastelum is has good sub defense. Like, dude, he's not fighting guys that hunt subs. Like Jared Cannonier, Chris Curtis, Whitaker, Heinrich. The only people that have have decent sub games subbed him. Chris Weidman.
Yeah, Weidman is a black belt, and Hermanson is a good sub.
Maybe Jakari, but yeah, I don't.
Sosa is the one. Sosa's the one.
The only one.
Sub. But you're absolutely on point here. Like Whitaker's not a good sub artist. Cannonier isn't a good sub artist. Heinisch, Darren Till, Adesanya, Bisbing. None of these guys are very good sub guys. So yeah, this is probably one of the best sub guys he's faced outside of Jacare.
Pure jiu-jitsu. I would put him as the best. Like I think he's better than.
No, he's not better than Jacare. No way. Not close.
I would put him against the people that subbed him with Weidman and Hermanson.
No, I'm saying Jacare is definitely better. I mean, that guy's a little world class.
Yeah.
But again, Jacare, that was later in his career, is like almost 40, right? Yeah. Almost 40 years old, guys. This is a young, hungry guy in Sean Brady. But again, a guy that to me, he crumbles, man. He really does. I don't like how he looks in some of these round 3s. But yeah. Calvin, people are saying Calvin's going to dog walk Brady. Did you see him? He's looking good as well. Yeah. But here's the thing, guys. That's another thing I want to say. Like, he looks great at 175. He cut the weight. He looked fantastic. How does that help his takedown defense? That's what you have to look at. His kink in his armor, right? Before was like he couldn't cut weight. But how does it help his takedown defense? His takedown defense is not good.
These things are not. You're not going to make the jump and the leap that you're going to need to do in one camp.
Whitaker is a great fighter. He's a great fighter all around, but he's not a better grappler than Sean Brady is. It's not true. It's not true. So it's like Whitaker did whatever he wanted with the takedowns against him. That's not a good look. I'm telling you guys, that's not a good look. That's why I stayed off. I wanted to bet Gastelum. I said 170, it might be, better for him, blah, 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 this and that. But that Whitaker fight, I couldn't get it out of my head. Like single leg, run the pipe, down he goes so easily too. Like this guy has no hips. He has no hips. So no, thank you. I'm not touching money lines here. I don't see it, man. I honestly don't see a point. And, I think anyone can win here. I'm not saying like if Brady doesn't get subs, if he doesn't get a sub early, like round 1 or halfway through round 2, probably he's going to wilt, to be honest. So let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 20-7 Rob Font versus the 21-3-1 Davison Figueiredo. And I got a bet here pre-flop on Font. I like Font. It's minus 130. I think that's a good price. Minus 135, whatever. I think Font, the bigger guy, the guy that's a natural 35er, going up against a guy that's going to be a little bit smaller in Figueiredo. And Font's the better striker. Listen, he's the better boxer, I should say. He's the better boxer. There's a lot of volume. And, the one thing that I don't like seeing, and this is me, I don't like seeing a 35-year-old that's fought his whole career at 125, but all of a sudden at 35, he wants to move up a weight class to 135. I don't know. I don't like it. I know this guy has a hard time cutting weight. I just don't think it's the right time at this point. Like, dude, you shouldn't be moving up to 35 now. You're going to be smaller than a lot of these guys. A lot of the attributes that helped Figgy win a lot of his fights, which was power, strength, you know, all those weight bullying a lot of his opponents because he comes in so heavy for 125 on fight day. He's not going to have him here anymore at 35. He lost all those advantages that he used to win a lot of his fights. He's lost now at 135. Now he's facing a guy in Rob Font who's very experienced. He's faced some of the best guys at 135, guys. He's fought some of the best guys. Sanhagen, Vera, Aldo. You're talking about some of the best guys. Ricky Simone. You know, he's fought really, really good guys. Sergio Pettis. He's fought really good and beat some really good guys at 35. And you look at Figueiredo, and the one thing that turned me off with this guy in his fights, with Moreno specifically, is Moreno, when you watch his tape, he doesn't have power, guys. He's not a power puncher. Moreno throws volume, he wing shots, but he's not a power puncher. He doesn't sit down trying to knock at people out. He just isn't. And you see him wobbling, dropping, hurt, and, you know, he KO'd him last time out. That's a terrible look, dude, at 25. And now you're going up to 35 to face a guy that hits way harder, in my opinion, than Moreno. Like, it's just a bad idea to me. And the thing is, I do think Rob Font can knock him out. The price is not where I want it to be to play it, to be honest. I didn't like it. What I do like, and it's obviously something that I see can happen, is Davison Figueiredo by decision. It's 425, okay? This is a fight that's almost even on the money line. Rob Font is a guy that's extremely hard to finish, whether it be grappling, whether it be a knockout. He's hard to finish. I thought Yanez was going to finish him, and he was touching him up with all those shots, but he couldn't. You've seen how many times he got dropped by Vera. Maybe he should have been stopped. Most of them were head kicks. Figgy moving up to 35. How does his power translate to 35? We don't even know. Is he going to be able to hurt people like he did at 25? I don't think so. I think he was a weight bully at 25. So I do think he can, you know, land takedowns, maybe get the back and not finish, you know, stuff like that where he wins minutes but doesn't finish Rob Font. So that's why I'm saying I like Font on the money line. That's who I think is going to win this fight. But Davidson Figueiredo by decision at 425 is off, because I don't think, when I look at the props on this fight and you're telling me that, you know, Davidson Figueiredo's knockout is almost like his decision prop, it's not right, because Font is hard to fucking knock out, guys. He's not easy to knock out. Shouldn't be almost the same price. So that's why I like Davison Figueiredo by decision for my favorite prop on this fight. But I do like Rob Font on the money line. What do you got here, Tim?
That's a really good breakdown. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. Davison has been a size bully and just a powerhouse bully in the weight class below, in his normal weight class at 125. I think that Font has some, like, he's just way taller. He's got a 3-inch height advantage. He's got a 3.5-inch reach advantage. He's got an elite jab game. Like, it's just fucking elite. His boxing is super crisp. I think Yanez's boxing is better than Figgy's. Figgy's always been a moment winner. He's always been a guy where you're like, and I love Figgy, so I historically love Figgy. Like, he's always been a guy where it's like, dude, you really want to bet Figgy at minus 300? He's just like going to rely on moments. He's not a volume guy. He has to hit you and pick his spots and have huge moments. It's like, could he do that in this fight? Yeah, it's possible, but it's like the durability questions on Font, I'm just laughing all week. Like, he didn't get knocked out on a spinning kick to his chin versus Vera and a fucking flying knee, and he still wasn't knocked out. I had 3-4-5 on Vera, and I was screaming at the TV, like, and it probably should have been stopped, but it's like, he still was fighting. He was fighting, trying to fight through a choke against Sandhagen in round 5. Like, Sandhagen, then they're saying, oh, everybody's saying, like, oh, man, with that Sandhagen, he's got terrible takedown defense. It's like, did you watch the Ricky Simone fight? Like, doesn't like, come on, like this is the guy that he's fighting against Sandhagen, and Sandhagen he's thinking is going to strike with him, and he's thinking this is going to be, and Sandhagen's striking is elite enough that he could fuck him up on the feet, and he's like short notice, and Sandhagen's like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to strike with Rob Font, that'd be really fucking dumb, I could easily take him down and hold him. So I just think Sandhagen's athleticism is totally underrated, and his grappling game is totally underrated, and yeah, I mean, I think that the issues that I have for Font are the orbital issue. It seems to have, like, he gets hit, like even against Yanez, it didn't even really seem like he got hit, but it started puffing up again. That to me, like, just from an optic standpoint and a damage standpoint, could kind of swing things a little bit. So I have Font by points. It's a +210. I think he could KO Figgy, but I think Figgy is also has shown to be pretty durable, and I just think that Font by points and then end split is +600 to go on what you were talking about. Just minutes versus moments. I think that Figgy could have some big moments in this fight. Font has lost fights both against Vera and against Aldo, where he was outstriking them 2-1, and it's just like, this is possible. And I think you're also in Texas in this fight, so I think that you could see some fuckery in this fight as well with the judges. So yeah, give me Font +210 in points and ends by split at 6-1.
Yeah. Dixon said, why didn't you play Figgy split? Yeah, I mean, if it's 1,200, I see it. It's not bad. It's a way, if you want to look at it. Yeah, you could hit the split too. The thing is, I do think Font is very live to KO this guy. Honestly, I truly do believe that. Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, Figueiredo could hurt him. Don't get me wrong. And people saying he could wobble him. Yeah, sure. He might even be able to KO him. Maybe the first one to KO him. I don't think so. I don't think he will, because I think some of these guys that he fought hit harder, and they're natural 35ers. Listen, this is the other thing I want to say that's very important. I wrote it in my notes here. I don't think Figgy optionally went to 35, by the way, just so you guys know. Last fight, I don't know if you guys know, remember he was scheduled to fight Tate a while back. He didn't fight because he didn't get medically cleared for that fight. And we know historically he's had a hard time cutting to 25. He was forced, probably by the UFC, said, hey, listen, we can't be fucking around with this weight thing with you all the time, where you're missing weight, you're this, you're that, you're having a hard time cutting, you're fucking passing out, all this other shit. You got to move up to 35. That's it. And that's what happened. If you look, his Cape fight was scheduled in July or whatever, August or something. He didn't get medically cleared, probably because of the weight cut or whatever it was. And then now all of a sudden he appears, a year later or half a year later at 135. I don't think it was his choice. They just said, hey, listen, you got to go to 35. Yeah,
Laguna made a point. He says he asked if Vera is a moment. Absolutely. Yeah, Cheeto's exactly the Figgy archetype. Completely.
Wait, who is this?
The guy Laguna in the chat was asking it. Don't I think that Vera is a moment winner too? I'm like, yeah, that's he and I mean, Aldo isn't necessarily as much of a moment winner as Vera and Figgy, but they both won those fights based on moments. They were outstruck 2-1, and then they just hit him hard and dropped him and fucked him up. And it was so obvious that they were winning the rounds just by how much damage they were doing to him in those shots. But yeah, there's no way that you can tell me that Figgy's power is anywhere remotely close to Aldo's or Chito Vera's. Like, it's not close. Like, it's
no, at 35. I don't think you're underestimating. For to move up 10 pounds in these divisions, like all the way down low, it kind of matters. Man. Yeah, it's a big jump. 10 pounds for 125er is a big jump. That's like a 10% jump on your weight. It's a big jump. So, yeah. Let's move on. We're up to the co-main event of the night, and it is in the lightweight division. It is the 13-7 Jalen Turner versus the 31-14-1 Bobby Green. This one's yours, Tim.
So this fight, I've been going back and forth in this fight a lot. I don't know, man. This is a definite flip flop for me. All as long as this fight's been on. Here's the thing. Like, I think John Stargarian did a really great breakdown on the Club and Sub podcast on this fight, and it's literally exactly the way I've been thinking about it too. It's like, Bobby Green is a type of fighter where like when he's outmatched, it's like these are the fights that he loses. Like he really is not a guy that's like, oh, dude, huge dog. He's coming through. It's like if he's close, he can win. If he's a better fighter, he can win. But the size difference, I mean, like Jalen Turner is just fucking massive for this division, just massive for this division. And like I was thinking about it, like I weigh 150 pounds, like he's 156 pounds and he's 6'3". I'm like 5'6". Like this guy is mountain over me. And he's got a 77-inch reach. So he's got 5 inches on height, which is going to be a huge thing for a boxer to hit him consistently. And then he's got 7 inches on reach. Bobby is a boxer. Bobby doesn't kick. And Jalen, I think kicks are going to be there for Jalen all day long. I think he's going to like, I just don't know how Jalen's going to fight this fight. And I don't think that Bobby's going to be stupid enough to try to just like fight like Dan Hooker does. Dan Hooker comparison, like Dan Hooker has the same thing where he's just gigantic for this weight class. So I think that the edges that Jalen Turner normally has in that fight are like, they were just kind of nullified. And I feel like the durability that Dan showed in that fight was insane. I mean, I think if Jalen hits him with an elbow like he hit Dan in this fight, I think Bobby's going to go dead. But I don't know if he does. Like, I just keep going back and forth on like what I think, the style of the fight will be. And, it comes back down to like, if I feel like if Jalen comes out hot and I think he could easily KO him in the first 2 rounds, but I don't know that Bobby's going to give him that. I think Bobby's going to be smart enough and kind of knows who he's fighting against here. So this fight, I don't know. I'm banking on like Bobby fighting really, really well in this for my call on this one. Texas judging again. I think if the fight goes, I think we could see an ends by split at plus 600, 650. Jalen points is plus 310. Bobby points is like plus 400 or plus 450. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning fight goes, and I kind of think that it could be closer than I made it seem in this fight. I think Bobby does have good striking. I think he's defensively responsible, very good boxer. Kind of relies on his head movement and relies on shit like his athleticism to get out of trouble with it, which I think in this fight could hurt him. But yeah, I just think end split at plus 650 seems like a really wide line in this fight for me. I just think it could be close. And I hope that Bobby fights to his ceiling, because if Bobby doesn't fight to his ceiling, I think he does get pieced up in this fight.
Breaking news. Like an hour ago, he says, Hammer Bets MMA said Bobby Green and his crew just ran up on Armin and them and they threw hands in the lobby. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. Dixon says they're friends. There's no beef between them. Fight goes decision. I don't really care about that stuff, bro. Honestly. And don't look, don't look at that noise and stuff. They're friends. They're there to make money. Bobby Green's there to make money. He wants to win. Same with Turner. Turner made weight on a second try. 10 minutes after he missed weight by 1 pound. It was pretty weird. I'm like, how the heck did he had to go use the bathroom to lose 1 pound and come back? It was funny. It was literally like 10 minutes. He came back and he made weight. He didn't even sweat. That was the crazy part.
We've all had one of those morning dumps where it's just like, oh,
how the fuck did this guy lose 1 pound after missing weight? He lost 1 pound literally in 10 minutes. It was funny. But yeah, this is a fight that I think short notice is bad for Jalen Turner. If this was a full camp, I like the Jalen Turner side quite a bit. Bigger guy, younger guy, longer guy. The guy that probably has a little bit of a grappling upside is Jalen Turner. But, this guy on full camps, guys, is slowing down a ton in round 3. He's slowing down a ton in round 3 on full camps. Now you're telling me on a short camp where he's taking a fight, he didn't even want to take it. He's even saying, I didn't really want to take this fight. I had to take it. I didn't really want to take it. Those are not like, okay, that's noise also, but that's bad to hear from a fighter saying you don't want to take the fight. What's the reasoning? Like, because he knows, to me, in my opinion, it's because he knows his gas tank is already bad when he's having a full training camp. Now he has to come off the couch and fight Bobby Green and a guy that has easily 3 rounds of cardio. He's going to keep coming, right? Bobby Green's going to keep coming for 3 rounds. The one thing that I disagree with you that you did say, Tim, is that Bobby's not a kicker. He actually kicks a lot in a lot of his fights. Bobby does kick. There's certain fights when he doesn't need to kick, he won't kick. He'll just use his hands. But in a lot of his fights, he throws a ton. I mean, you go back some of his fights, throwing like 50 kicks in some fights. Like he throws kicks. But it all depends on who he's fighting. You know, the guy's an experienced fighter. And, you know, people are saying, you know, Jalen Turner probably wins round 1 at a high clip. I don't know. He's coming on short notice. Is he going to go balls to the wall in round 1? Or is he going to be fighting at a tepid pace, a Bobby Green pace where, you know, he lets Bobby Green kind of dictate the pace, right? Because he knows he's on short notice and he knows that, you know, he might not be able to go 3 hard rounds here. And if he goes for it in round 1, like you're saying, and he doesn't get the finish, then what happens, right? So because of that, I like Bobby Green by decision here. I don't think Bobby Green's a big finisher. I do think Jalen Turner is tough. I don't think it's easy to get him out of there. And the same with Bobby Green. I don't think it's easy to get Bobby Green out of there. I think both guys are durable. I think this fight probably goes to decision. You know, Dixon mentioned it. I like that. I think fight probably goes to decision. I think it's a close decision. And I'm going to sprinkle the split decision on the fight at plus 650, but I'm also going to sprinkle Bobby Green by split decision at plus 1400 because I think it's a close fight. I don't think neither one of these guys is blowing the other one out of the water, to be honest. So give me the split here at 650 and a little bit of the Bobby Green plus 1400 along with his decision. What's up?
I don't think that Green too is like that. It's completely outside of the realm, like where he couldn't get a takedown or grapple in the first round early. I don't think he will, but I feel like if there's somebody that will get takedowns consistently or will have some success grappling, I think that he has more success than Jalen. I also feel like it'd be smarter for him if he is getting in, if he has any chances to get him in on the cage at all to try to clinch him or to try to just gas him out a little bit and just wear out his arms. I don't think that he will, but I just feel like if you're going to say like, it's standing and it's close and it's going to be a 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah. We've just talked about that, but I'm like, we haven't talked about the grappling side of it. It's like, if somebody is grappling hard in this way, I think I rate Green's grappling a little bit better. The grappling where I've made a lot of money on Turner in the certain fights with him subbing with, I think it was Riddell and Medic both, where it's just like, you see these certain fights where he's just like, he's smart. Like he'll match up well. Like the other part with the decision and then the ends by split in this for me is like, I don't think that Jalen's won a decision ever. Pretty sure.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
like,
he's on. Yeah, I looked at that. He's on. I think Bobby Green's like 11-8, and he's 0-3 or 0-4.
Add also that if Bobby is winning the fight by decision and it's like a clear 2-1, judges hate him. So it's like they notoriously do not like this dude and make him lose fights, or at least one judge will take a round away from him. So the ends by split, I think, is a good spot.
I can't, the grappling aspect, I just want to mention that and then we're done with it. But I can see him maybe going for takedowns. If you look like recently, he's really landed like nothing, but he's also faced guys that are either they have extraordinary takedown defense or they're very, very good grapplers. So he's like, what am I going to do? Why am I going to grapple these guys? The only guy like Fiziev fight, I think he should have grappled more. He didn't. And Fiziev has great takedown defense. Let's not kid ourselves. Like, I don't think Bobby's going to be successful anyways. But against Jalen Turner, like watching the Matthias Gamrot fight, and he had a lot of trouble with Turner because he's so long. I honestly don't think Bobby's going to grapple, but who knows? We'll wait and see. But man, 227 people in here.
Highest.
To all you guys, thank you very much. That's a record, Tim. Record on this show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. After 2 weeks ago, I think we got some new listeners here, some new viewers here. So thank you very, very much. With that being said, before we move on to the main event of the night, guys, 228 in here. Please hit the like down below. That's all I ask. Hit that like, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button too, so that anytime we go live here on the channel, you will get that notification so that we are live and you can join us. Also, any tickets you guys want, UFC, any football, any type of sport, any concert, down below, there's a link, gotstubs.com. You get a percentage off by using my code NARCO. It's right there. Use that code at checkout, NARCO, and you get a percentage off your tickets. With that being said, guys, 222 in here. Let's go to the main event of the night, and it is in the lightweight division. It is the 22-5-1 Beneil Dariush versus the 20-3 Arman Tsarukyan. I got a bet here. I got Beneil Dariush at plus 250. Embarrassing line. I think that line is embarrassing to put out there, honestly. It's not right. Islam Makhachev was minus 325, minus 350 against Beneil Dariush. Arman Tsarukyan is all of a sudden Islam Makhachev? Why the heck is he minus 325 here? I'll tell you why. Recency bias, guys, because Dariush didn't look great against Oliveira. He got up, he got knocked out, but he was winning that fight prior to that. He was on top for about 2 minutes, landed some ground and pound, doing some work. Then Oliveira worked way back up, landed a head kick, wobbled him, subsequently finished him. Didn't look good. Don't get me wrong. It didn't look good. But now you're comparing Arman Tsarukyan to Islam.
And Dubron.
Because that's what this price is telling me, right? Because Dariush, when he was booked with Islam, was plus 275. It was about the same price. So Arman Tsarukyan all of a sudden is Islam Makhachev, right? This is the same guy that lost a close decision to Gamrot that, if we do MMA math, which I don't like doing, that Beneil Dariush clearly beat in a 3-round fight, finally. That's the only thing holding me back from honestly going 5 units on Beneil Dariush here.
100%.
Because it's a 5-rounder. And I don't trust Benny's cardio. That's the only thing I don't trust in his game too much. His chin is but his cardio is just some of these fights. I know he went 3 rounds with Gamrot, and the cardio is a little iffy, man. It is. And when I watch it, he's breathing heavy. Arman is going to bring a pace. He's going to grapple. He's going to attempt to grapple, in my opinion. He's going to throw a lot of body kicks. He's going to throw a lot of head kicks, which I'm very, very concerned with, by the way. The left head kick, the switch kick he throws this left head kick all the time. Does Arman, and it's very, very fast, man. Like, you don't even, he doesn't like give you a tell that he's throwing it. He just throws it and it goes up really, really quick. So the thing is, 250 on the money line is just stupid. Honestly, it's a stupid line. This line's off. It's off because of recency bias, because Dariush did not look good in his last fight. He lost against Charles Oliveira, one of the best fighters in the world at lightweight. Fine. He didn't look great. He lost that fight. But go back and look at the rest. I mean, this guy's on an 8-9 fight winning streak in one of the hardest divisions in the UFC, easily beating Matthias Gamrot, not out grappling him, but Gamrot couldn't do shit with the takedowns against him.
I think he did. I mean, he was counter wrestling so well.
Yeah, counter wrestling like crazy. And is Arman a good wrestler? Yeah, but Gamrot is if you notice one thing about Dariush, if you get him down and you get his back with the body lock, he's going to roll for a knee bar. And he uses that just to get up. Now, he had a couple of them that were okay against Gamrot, but Gamrot's like an 80cc level grappler. You're not going to get him with that shit. You're not getting him with a knee bar, Tsarukyan is not a high-level submission guy. He's a great wrestler, but he's not a high. And also, I don't think he's a very, very good scrambler like Gamrot is. Gamrot's extremely good scrambler.
His scrambler is way better.
He got Tsarukyan's back later in the fight, in the fight against each other, right? There's no fucking way he was going to get Benny's back. He couldn't get Benny's back. Like, he just couldn't. Benny's too good of a grappler. He's actually a very good wrestler. And his submission game, to me, is very, very good. Now, the 3-4-5 KO on Tsarukyan is like, I kind of have to sprinkle it. I really do. It's plus 500. I have to. But I'm also going to fucking sprinkle the submission prop on Beneil Dariush. It's plus 1,200. Listen, maybe it doesn't happen. Why is Beneil's sub prop higher than fucking Sarukian's sub prop?
Ridiculous.
How does that make sense? In what world? There's no fucking way that's right. And the thing is, like, Dariush can hurt him on the feet. Like, Dariush, if Neto BJJ can hurt him, who I think does have power, so can Dariush. He's got a nice, he has a nice straight left hand. And Dariush can hit body kicks here because it's southpaw against conventional. So he can land body kicks here. Just like Arman can land body kicks, I think Dariush can land body kicks. So all this outside noise too with the Bobby Green stuff, now they're fighting in the hallway again. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Are you concentrating on a guy that's a top 5 lightweight in the world? Or are you like looking at Bobby Green for whatever reason? Like, I don't get what he's doing, Arman. And listen, fighting is mental too. Like, you cannot be worried a day before the fight, fighting with, Bobby Green outside that hotel or whatever the fuck they're fighting. It's just stupid fight IQ or just stupid IQ in general right here. You know what he's doing. So listen, Arman 345. If you want to take a shot, it's plus 500. Fine. But I think Benny is the side here, man. Benny at plus 250. It's a disrespectful line, dude, for one of the best 55ers on the planet. And you know what fucking Arman said at the weigh-ins at the face-offs? He said, I'm gonna go out there tomorrow and beat the best lightweight in the world. He described Dariush as the best lightweight in the world. You know, he knows he's a good fighter. Maybe he's saying that so he can prop himself up. Fine. But he knows Dariush is a very good. And guess what? Nobody wanted to fight Arman and Dariush for that matter. Nobody wanted to fight Dariush. So you know what? Now they're fighting each other. Like, screw it. Dariush is like, fuck it. Nobody wants to fight me. Nobody wants to fight him. We'll just fight each other. And to me, the better overall striker here, like, is probably Dariush. I think he has better hands for sure. Maybe kicking game is better on Sarukian's side. But then when you add the aspect of wrestling with jiu-jitsu, Dariush is the better guy. So it's like, why is this guy that's better almost everywhere plus 250? Maybe the cardio aspect, but it can't warrant plus 250. When you look in skill for skill, there's no chance. If Dariush had cardio, like I said, if he had cardio for 5 rounds, he should be, in my opinion, he should be minus 150 here if he had cardio for 5 rounds. But I don't think he does. That's the only thing that is holding me back again from going like ham on him at plus 250. Sorry, long breakdown, but listen, I love Dariush as a fighter. He's my people as well. He's a Syrian. I love the guy, but I say it how it is. I don't think his cardio is good. I do think he gets sloppy sometimes when he gets tired, and I think he's there to be kicked. He's open for head kicks. He gets kicked a lot, and that's kind of like Sarukian's game, which is scary. But money line's still disrespectful. Go ahead, Tim. I'm done with this.
Yeah, man. I feel like I feel it's a great breakdown. I feel a lot of the same things. I feel like if you go in on the money line in this fight and you're betting Arman pre, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I think it's a great bet where you can arb off after a round and a half. Like, I just don't see, like, while like really fresh in the fight and I just don't see it's going to be easy takedowns. It's not like Arman's top game is just like he just holds dudes down and controls them. Like, Benny's never going to be like, who's a guy that's held down Benny for any length of time? There's not one, like, there's just not really many guys.
Chiesa got his back. Chiesa got his back and subbed him, but I mean, Chiesa's huge 50.
But it was like, right. But it was like instantaneous. It wasn't like holding him down. Like, that's to me, it's like Arman's game is he's not a guy that's like just instant power knocks you out, bonk a bit. It's all these different things are like they feed into what you're saying about Benny being the side. So it's like, take Benny pre at plus 250, look to arb off after a round or so at like probably minus 120 to plus maybe 120 or something like that on Arman, and then you play for free. And you're looking at you're hoping a guy that are like, I just think that those are great shots. I'm with you on the 3-4-5, and the only other thing that I would think on this would be that if Benny survives And that's a big if. Like, let's be honest. Like, every loss from Benny is inside the distance. Every single one. He's never lost a decision. Like, so can Arman, Arman's game, like, if he doesn't kick him, or if he, like, here's the other problem. Like, I don't think Arman's boxing is really, really like super strong and powerful, but I also don't think that the chin on Darush needs to be like, it needs to be hit hard. Like, I think his durability is by far his biggest weakness. His athleticism is his second worst. Is like a second biggest weakness to me. He's just not an athlete. He's not fast. He's kind of a guy that you just look at and you go like, this guy can't be that good of a fighter. And it's like, he's a damn good fighter. You better watch out. Like, you better respect him. Otherwise he's going to fuck you up. And I just feel like, so his athleticism, his cardio, and his durability are the questions. So, like, obviously, like you said, like, if this was a 3-round fight, it'd just be such an easy big bet. And like the last fight against Gamrot, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, dude, how does Gamrot beat him? Gamrot doesn't hit hard. He's a jiu-jitsu player. He relies on chain takedowns. It isn't just like one, it's the same fucking game. And these guys, and they fought each other, and they fought to what probably should have been a split, but Gamrot got the unanimous decision there. But I thought that fight should have been a split, or I thought it was close.
I honestly thought, rewatching, I give it to Arman.
I thought he could have won. Yeah, it was super close. My point is, it's like nobody was separating in that fight, either striking or in the grappling. And there were, the worst positions. I think, like you said, Gamrot had his back for a little bit. And Gamrot's jiu-jitsu is way better than Arman's, like way, 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 way better. And he's not as good a wrestler, and I don't think he's as strong or as good of an athlete as Arman. So that's where they were different. I just feel like this is the perfect matchup in a 3-round fight. This would be just a perfect matchup for Darush. You should be saying, who can you give me that's a top guy that I can beat? I would pick Arman. Like, this is it. So, can he outlast him? Can he, finish him later? Things like that. Yeah, I think he could, for sure. But I think it's based upon a significant slowdown from Darush, or the chin showing up, and things like that. So, if the fight goes, I could see this fight being super splittish. I mean, crazy splittish, where you're seeing major, like the striking damage and the damage being done predominantly standing by Benny, and then probably some top time and some elbows and things like that from top, and transitions and things like that, and control that you're getting from Arman. But it's extremely splittish to me if it goes. I don't think it goes. I think it does finish, but. And the same thing is like you said with Neto BJJ. It's like, dude, he fucking rocked Arman in that fight. He rocked him. And there's no way that you can tell me that either the power or the technicality in striking and the ability to hit him hard is less from Darush. I think he hits just as hard or harder. And I feel like his setups to his strikes are significantly better. So I wouldn't be shocked if he hurts him on the feet, or hurts him at all, or finishes him myself. I like you said, by the sub as well, for Darush being lined like wider than Arman. I think it's just based on Chiesa subbing him. I think that's the only argument for it. It's stupid, but I think it's like he's a significantly better BJJ player. Unless he death gasses, I think that happens.
I still don't think this guy's gonna sub him, to be honest. I don't see a sub on the Arman side, but I do want to shout out like this comment, like, I've been seeing this. Benny's washed as hell, more proof loading. Like, okay, he looked bad. I'm saying it. He looked bad. But like a year ago, he fought one of the top lightweights in the world and looked fucking great. So all of a sudden he's washed now because he lost last fight.
You know who else looked washed against Charles Oliveira? Gaethje, all these guys. He's fucking murdering these dudes.
I understand where people are looking, what they're looking at, but guys, don't just take one fight and say a guy's washed. Like, if you're consistently seeing something, I'm with you.
Like, if you're
one fight and then you're saying this guy's washed after winning 8-9 in a row, beating one of the best lightweights in the world easily, and now he's washed. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it's like a crazy comment to say. Like, nobody knows if he's washed off the last fight. Nobody knows.
It's like the washed is like the wrong word. Like, it's just, if you're gonna say like the dude is chinny as hell and his durability is shit, I'm right there with you. Like, he lost to Alex fucking Hernandez. Like, the dude got rocked against close before he finished close. Like, he's there to be hit. He's not athletic, and he can be hit and he can be knocked out without a doubt. There's no question about that. But to say the guy's washed with having positions on Oliveira in the round one, as well as absolutely dominating a top fighter in Gamrot, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't jump to those conclusions. Like, you can't conclude that off of last fight. There's no way.
He's not durable. That's basically
it makes no sense. Like, bro, like let's look at a 2-3 fight sample and then talk about people being washed, not off of one fight. Like, you're not gonna know if this guy's washed or not. But anyways, that's enough. 221 people in here. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate each and every one of you again, guys. And now it is time for the Lambo parlays. Timothy, I will let you kick it off this week with your Lambo parlay. What is it? Let's hear.
All right, so we're gonna start with a 3-legger, and we're gonna add one, and then we're gonna add another one at the end to make them huge. The first 3 legs are Silva by sub, Bellotto by sub, and Puna inside the distance is 30-1. And then if you add Brady by sub, it's 136-1. And if you add Joe Selecki by celeb, it's 633-1. So don't do Selecki early with the ones. Don't do, even though he's the earlier fight, and Brady, put them on at the end and make the 3-legger with Silva, Bellotto, Puna. That gets you 30-1, which is solid.
It's so funny that you had that. Mine is eerily similar. My first one is eerily similar to yours, but it's a little bit better, like as far as price is concerned. So I'm gonna give you Punahele Soriano KO 1-2 at plus 160. And this is all, by the way, this is all, guys, this is on FanDuel. You can only get the KO 1-2 on FanDuel. That's it. Nowhere else. My second play is going to be Rodolfo Bellotto by submission. Again, that's on FanDuel. It's plus 300. And then the last one is going to be Joaquin Silva by submission, plus 350 there. It's going to be 45-1. Now, I have that one that I did, but I did another one. And the other one is the same 2 legs on the first 2. It's Punahele Soriano round 1, round 2 KO. Adolfo Bellotto by submission at plus 300. But my third leg is Jakar Close 2-3 KO. And that one will give you 87-1. So it's almost double for that one. Man, unbelievable show. Unbelievable amount of people in chat. Chat was rocking and rolling. Liam is in the house. Made it in time for the parlays. Yes, you did. Thank you again to each and every one of you. Much love, my friend. Appreciate you. God Stubbs, thank you very much. Again, guys, link down below. God Stubbs, concerts, UFC events, whatever you want. Link is down below. Narco, use code Narco at checkout. You get a percentage off of your tickets. Literally, like, way better than Ticketmaster. Yeah, that's it.
Mushroom asked if I could go over mine again. I can do it real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Silva, the first 3, it's 3 legs. Silva sub, Bellotto sub, Puna ITD. So I didn't do the KO 1-2. I just did the ITD because it was minus 135 versus the plus 110 or something for KO. So that was 30-1. So Silva sub, Bellotto sub, Puna ITD. And then I added Brady by sub to make it 136-1. And then I added Joe Selecki sub to make it 633-1.
All right, Mushroom. Did you get all that? Love all you guys. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you very, very much. Again, if you haven't hit the like on the way out. We will be back. Actually, I don't know. Next week, I will be in Vegas. I'm leaving to Vegas on Thursday. So I will be in Vegas, but I might be able to still do a show. I don't know. I'm going to take my computer with me. So it's on hold. The Lambo Plays show is on hold this week. I'm not sure if I will do it. But I do want to always shout out my co-host, Timothy Troiano. Give this man a follow. Great dude, sharp guy. And Tim, do you have anything on the burner, anything going on tomorrow? Or
I'm waiting for a text back from Sean. We might do a Spaces tomorrow to just do the final lines and see if there's any edges to be had there. I haven't heard back from him, but I should hear back soon. If we do, if you're on Twitter, that's Space or X, you'll see that.
All right, awesome. Guys, you can find me at NarcoCop on Twitter, NarcoCop MMA, obviously on the YouTube channel. And I will be having a live space tomorrow on Twitter for the fight card. Someone's asking me if I'm going to Worlds. No, I'm going to the WPT at the Win, playing some big tournaments there. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we come back with a duffel bag. We appreciate you, Mark Schillenberg. Oh, also one more thing before I still have 200 of you in here. I made a post that I want to give out $1,000 to 5 families, whether it be in Twitter community, someone that I know can, send a family that are in need, that have kids. That's a priority. They have to have kids. And, they kind of have rough times right now. They can't afford gifts for the kids. I want to give 5 families $200 a piece from my money to them so they can buy their kids gifts. Again, I'm going to do my research. It can't be like, don't be a degenerate gambler coming up to me and telling me, hey, it's me right here. Send me the 200 so I could put it on the next parlay. It ain't happening, guys. It has to be a legit family. I want to give some money out for the holidays. I know it's rough times. I've been having a great year, so I want to give some back. That's all. I think giving back is a great thing, especially during holidays, and especially when it's for kids, because I'm strictly doing this for kids. And yeah, that will be it, guys. 189 of you in here. Thank you very, very much. Again, if you know any families, hit me up, DM me on Twitter. I'm going to make a post again. I haven't forgot about that. I did that water diet or whatever fasting, dude. That thing killed me for 86 hours. But I went through it. I feel good, man. I feel good. I feel energized. And we're going to crush the card tomorrow. But all right, guys, thank you very, very much. And there's one final thing to say. Let's cash those tickets for UFC